What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new StarCraft 2 video. This one was played at the IEM in Katowice and was game 1 of that tournament in the semifinal here in the right hand side of the map, playing with the red Zerg pieces. He's very well known as one of the best Zerg players on the planet. His name is Dark. And his opponent spawning on the left hand side of the map, playing with the blue Protoss pieces. He's arguably the best Protoss player on the planet and wants to continue showing everyone why he is exactly that. His name is Stats. So guys and girls, this game and series was played at IEM in Katowice, was one of the semifinal matchups of that tournament. So in the round of 4, guys, the last 4 people, who is moving on to the grand finals and a crack at getting invited to none other than BlizzCon, and to, of course, a hefty amount of that prize winnings, which of course these players, guys, play, of course they play for the prize pool, but these guys are trying to win trophies, because that's really what it comes down to when you talk about legacy in StarCraft 2. So I'm excited to see what these two players decide to do here in this best of 5 series. It's an exciting one between two incredible players. Let's see what both our players are deciding to do here at the early stages of the game. Looks like Dark is going to go for that hatch gas pool opener, and then it's going to open up with a quick third hatchery. Whereas on the opposite side of the map, we are going to see Stats going for a standard build as well, gateway into that natural nexus, or I should say the natural nexus, and then gateway cybernetics core. So relatively standard on both sides of the map so far. And I gotta say, guys, Dark's one of my favorite Zerg players out there. I absolutely love watching him play. He's definitely one of my faves to watch. I of course love watching Serral and Nurchio and other Zerg players, but Dark is definitely one of my favorites. And I gotta say, the same can be said for Stats. When we're talking about the Protoss pieces, this guy's a lot of fun to watch. His builds are incredible, and he plays a very, really to the kind of plays by the book, so to speak, when it comes to the Protoss pieces. But he definitely is not afraid to go away from normal strategies and try, to throw his opponent off at any turn he possibly can. That being said, we are going to see the warp gate research is going to be coming in out of that cybernetics core, and we're also going to see metabolic boost coming in for Dark, which of course is the Zergling speed upgrade, the most standard upgrade for a Zerg player. And so, as I said, it's going to be interesting to see, the unit compositions as this game kind of unfolds. The ZVP matchup is a very fun one for sure. I will say, though, that we are seeing, of course, the Stargate is out. We are going to see a Phoenix coming in very quickly, followed up by a Oracle. So it looks like he's going to be able to chip away at that Overlord that is Stats. And once again, we are going to see a second gateway coming in now for Stats. Now, this Phoenix flew away. It looks like he's going to try to tag another Overlord. Very nice pickup here. We are going to see the lair switch up coming in for Dark. He's going to go for those higher tier lair based units at this point, and the creep spread is starting to move out slowly but surely. Trying to get fully droned up on 3 bases. Spore crawlers are down, and so now Dark kind of knows exactly what Stats is planning here. We are going to see a second Stargate, though, however, is being added on, so I would love to start seeing some Phoenix play coming in out of Stats. I would love to see the Phoenixes. The Phoenixes can be so deadly to a mineral line for sure. But we will see. So it does look like an Oracle is across the map with the Phoenix, trying to nibble away or shoot or chip away at a couple of those Queens and Overlords. Nothing too crazy as of yet, though. There is a Zergling that's just hanging out down here. It looks like Dark wants to see when that third base may very well be going up, and it looks like he is going to get that scout right now. It's going to confirm essentially that third base is going up here shortly. It does look like Stats is preparing. Does look like these Zerglings are going to get that probe. Nice pick up there by Dark, and he's going to go ahead and just end up heading on out. He's got his Hydralisk Den out, and he's going to start going for the Hydra upgrades, and then we're going to see more upgrades coming in for Stats as well out of the Cybernetics core, and this is also getting followed up by more and more Hydras are going to be coming behind this now. Another probe did get taken out, but not before, of course, laying out the foundation of a third Nexus. Very exciting stuff. This game is starting to kind of shape to be a macro-focused game. Does look like that fourth hatchery is now down for Dark. And so we're starting to see, you know, both players really giving each other a lot of respect. It looks like these Zerglings keep on trying to get a little bit, you know, they want to not necessarily, they just want to see, they want to test the waters. As air weapons level 1 is going to be finishing up in less than 10 seconds for Stats, which is going to be really good for, of course, his air-based units. And he's got a lot of Phoenixes now, and I like it a lot. Evolve Muscular Augments is going to be finishing up in 10 seconds for Dark, but it looks like a lot of these units are going to be across the map, as in the form of some Phoenixes are down here near this third hatchery, and they're just going to start taking out a ton of these Overlords. The transfuses do come in. It looks like Dark is going to be at this point supply blocked. The Hydras are going to try to intercept all of these Phoenixes. Got to be very careful. Do not want to lose all of these units for practically free. Transfuses are still coming in. Beautiful play there, but at the same time, it does look like this army of Phoenixes is going to be pushed back, at least for the time being. Beautiful play by Dark, absolutely on point defense to really push away all these Phoenixes. I mean, that is without a doubt a very job well done. But at the same time, we're seeing a lot of Hydras are starting to move out with Zerglings across the map. I'm wondering, it looks like he is going to probably most likely go after this third Nexus, and it looks like a lot of Banelings are coming in. Oh, I like this. I like the decision a lot. We got Grooved Spines finishing up in less than 5 seconds for Dark, and all these Banelings can be following up behind it. And we have got more and more gateways coming in. Those +1 ground-based upgrades are going to be started here as well. But these Hydras are coming in. They want to open up the floodgates of the natural base location. So many Banelings, all beautiful force fields there. But I just don't know. There's a lot of Zerg here. These Zerg units are, oh man, this could get scary. That Cybernetics core looks like it's going to surely go down. And here come the Swarm on top of all of these Immortals as well as those Sentries. Oh my god, how much longer can Stats hold on here as Dark is really pushed through that natural base barrier, and he is starting to move in as a lot of these units are starting to go down. But here we go. The Phoenixes are here. He's trying to split up this army, and a lot of those Banelings did go down. But I just don't know. Is there going to be enough here as Stats' supply is plummeting? GG is called, and Dark takes game number 1 in this best of 5 series, going up 1-0 against the best Protoss player on the planet. I hope you guys did enjoy this game between Dark and Stats. And if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe for news, stay positive, and I'll see you guys all in game number 2. Alrighty, everyone. Well, game number 2 in this best of 5 series finds us on New Repugnancy LE for a matchup between 2 of the best players in the world with their respective races. That was played at the IEM in Katowice and was one of the semifinal matchups of that tournament. Spawning here in the top right-hand corner of the map, playing with the red Zerg pieces. He's currently up in this series and wants to keep it rolling in his favor. His name is Dark. And his opponent spawning the bottom left-hand side of the map, playing with the blue Protoss pieces. He's currently down, but certainly not out of it just yet. His name is none other than Stats. So guys and girls, game number 2 in this best of 5 series. As I said, game number 1 was an exciting one. And this game, I'm sure, is going to be giving us a lot of excitement for sure, as both these players are very similar in skill sets, both very good players to say the least. I gotta say, in game number 1, Dark just played a very good macro focus game, went for a really nice timing push there. I really think what told the tale of the tape was really when Stats decided to fly across the map with all of those, kind of going in for a little bit of a push with a lot of Phoenixes, and Dark's defense was absolutely on point, and there was just really bad positioning for Stats' Phoenixes, and it ended up being really bad for Stats because he lost a lot of supply, and then Dark just counterattacked with a lot of Zerglings, Banelings, Hydralisks. That very classic Ling Bane Hydra composition is what finished it for Dark. But let's see what both our players are deciding to do in this game. Looks like a very similar build to game number 1 for Dark. Hatch, Gas, Pool Opener, followed up by a quick third hatchery. On the opposite side, it looks like Stats has a very similar build as well. Nexus, Gateway, Cybernetics Core. And so I'm assuming we're kind of seeing a little bit of something similar as we did in game number 1. One difference I'm noticing right off the bat, though, is that the robotics facility is coming in very quickly in this game. So we're going to see the robotics facility coming in for Stats, and I'm excited to see what this is going to transition to for him, as we are going to see of course, he's going to have out of his gateway, and Adept is going to be coming in. He's also going to be upgrading the Warp Gate, or getting that Warp Gate researched, and we are going to see that followed up by a Stalker. And then on the opposite side of the map, we are seeing Dark going for that standard Metabolic Boost upgrade, the most standard upgrade for a Zerg player, which of course is the Ling Speed. We are going to see this followed up by a Roach Horn, so we're starting to see a little bit of a difference in build orders by both these players, as a couple of Zerglings did make their way across the map, and they did try to nibble away at those probes. Nothing too crazy as of yet, though. So we are starting to see Roaches coming in, as that Ling Speed is going to be finishing up. We are going to be seeing a War Prism is going to be coming out of the robotics facility. And I wonder if he's going to start pushing across the map with some units here shortly, as Dark seems to be making some units himself. So I'm wondering if he's going to be going in for a timing push here shortly. Should be interesting. And I got to say, guys, I love the skins on the Zerg, on Dark's Zerglings, and on, of course, the Zerg pieces, of course, out of the War Chest. Absolutely incredible. They come up with some really awesome skins. But that being said, Metabolic Boost does finish up. Warp Gate is going to be finishing up in less than 5 seconds, and that's going to be happening, and it does look like there are units across the map now on the opposite side of the map, and they are going to start to move in, as we are seeing Ravagers that are going to start morphing in as well. And this is absolutely a timing push that is coming in now for Dark. But the question is he going to be held off? It does look like he is, at least for the time being, as that War Prism is filled up completely. Immortal and a couple, as well as a Stalker and Adept, as Dark is starting to retreat back home. Very interesting decision making here. He wants to get a few kills here and there on a lot of these units across the map. So that being said, it does look like, oh, that Immortal almost went down, just barely went down. Wow. Beautiful pickup micro there by Stats, saving that Immortal. That said, we're seeing the follow-up now. We're starting to see what Stats is planning on transitioning to, which is a Forge, so he's probably going to start getting those upgrades, and then he's got, of course, another Gateway as well as a Twilight Council. So I like the decision making here so far by Stats, and I really liked his defense there. He was able to have some really nice stellar defense, which a lot of times the stellar defense, guys, translates to really good offense, generally speaking, in the world of StarCraft 2. So I like to say that in StarCraft 2, a lot of times defense does win championships just as much as playing a very good offense can really, of course, help out. Well, here we go. It does look like there is going to be some nice defense by Dark, at least starting, but Stats is not done yet. It looks like Stats wants to find an angle with a couple of those Immortals. He's looking to find any angle he possibly can. It looks like he's trying to get the creep spread to move backward somewhat. And that said, it's kind of at a stalemate here. We're almost at a stalemate. It looks like we are going to see charge being researched. We're going to start seeing those +1 upgrades coming in. We're also going to see more and more gateways added on, 4 to be exact. We are going to see, of course, the lair coming in now for Dark. He is going to be morphing that lair, start getting those higher tier lair-based units. So he's getting the lair a little bit later than he did in game number 1. But he's adding on more and more roaches. And, you know, I don't know. I actually really like the position Stats is in right now. His army composition, I like the variety that he's got, that variety of spice, so to speak. But he's got, you know, an army of Immortals, Sentries, Stalkers, Adepts, and even a Zealot. So, as Ground Weapons level 1 finishes up, and Charge is going to be finishing up in less than 10 seconds, we are starting to see now Archons are being added on as well. And I'm starting to see this army is starting to look a little bit scary. Here comes Dark. Looks like he is going to try to get a little bit of an angle just to see if he can get some good scouting information. But it does look like 2 of those Archons are hauled into that War Prism, and they are going to start moving across the map, try to get a couple of Overlords if they can. It looks like that is exactly what he's going to do. Beautiful placement. He is absolutely all over the map. He's getting a lot of value out of these, of course, out of those Archons. And now Dark has to decide what he's going to do. Glowry Constitution's being researched. He is getting an Evolution Chamber down. And he's also going to have that Baneling Nest coming in as well. I just don't know if I really like this army composition of Dark. The one thing, though, that can absolutely happen is one bad move by Stats can, you know, spell absolute disaster for Dark. Now, Dark is going on that 4th base now, and that's going to be really helpful as he transitions into the later stages of the game as we are passing that 8-minute mark. But 3 bases for Stats is really going to give him a nice little edge here as he has a death ball of units. And so his upgrades, he's on to the +2 upgrades. Glowry Constitution's going to be finishing up in less than 10 seconds for Dark. We're pretty much almost dead even on the supply. But I just feel this is a scary army here. This is really scary for Dark to have to deal with. Lots of Zealots, charged Zealots, Immortals, Archons, Sentries. And here we go. Looks like the roly-poly upgrade is going to be coming in for Dark. We're also going to see more and more Banelings coming in, as well as those +1 upgrades. Here we go. It does look like Stats is thinking about a specific, how he wants to approach this. A lot of those Banelings did get the nice Baneling hits, but at the same time, now here comes the fleet of units, reinforcements. Here we go. It does look like Dark is going to try to pounce on this army. He's not utilizing all of his units, which he has a lot of Zerglings that are just sitting back, not doing much at this point. But here we go. Looks like the Surround is going to try to come in here for Dark, as it does look like his Stats overstaying his welcome. Another massive Warpin is going to be coming in. I just wonder, is there going to be enough beautiful bile there to take out the War Prism, but is it enough? There is a lot of Zealots, a lot of course, Immortals still that are still standing, and these Zealots are having a heyday with all of those drones. Oh my god, so much damage is being dealt. These Immortals are taking so much damage. A little bit of miss micro there by Stats. Can Dark hold on here, as a lot of these units are just being absolutely taken out? Dark, his supply is plummeting, but at the same time, Dark is kind of trying to fight his way back into this thing because there's a bit of an overextension by Stats. Stats somehow, some way, or for some reason or another, decided to continue with the aggression there. And Dark now, if I look at this, Stats, he won the battle, but not by much. And Dark was able, he forced a lot of units out of Dark, but I gotta say, when I look at this, I don't really think that Stats is in that big of a position of power. It just doesn't feel like it, at least. As we're approaching that 11-minute mark now, Storm is being researched. And so we're starting to see the late game really come to fruition now, as we are starting to see a lot of High Templar that are moving out now. Looks like Stats wants to try to close this thing out right now and at least get on the scoreboard to tie this series up. He does have a good amount of units, and I think the Storms are going to be absolutely crucial at this point against the Swarm, as Dark is going to try to get some more biles on some of these units. A little bit of some good micro now from Stats. Is he going to have enough? The Storms are coming in. Those Storms are hit really, really well, and it does look like the 4th base is vulnerable and is going to be under attack, as that 4th base is also being hit by Dark. But it looks like this 4th base is going to go down, and once again, is Stats overstaying his welcome? A lot of these units did get taken out on his side. GG is called, and Dark may have prematurely GG'd, but Stats was starting to take a nice supply lead and was continuing that aggression, and Stats evens up the score. I hope you guys did enjoy this game between Stats and Dark, and if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe for new, stay positive, and I'll see you guys all in game number 3. Alrighty everyone, well, game number 3 in this best of 5 series finds us on Port Alexander LE in a matchup that was played at the IEM in Katowice and was one of the semifinal matches of that tournament, spawning here in the top left-hand corner of the map, playing with the red Zerg pieces. He's currently tied with his opponent and wants to keep the series and try to get back ahead of his opponent. His name is Dark. And his opponent spawning in the cross position, playing with the blue Protoss pieces. He tied up the series and wants to keep it rolling in his favor. His name is Stats. So guys and girls, I gotta say, game number 2 in this series was absolutely epic on the proportions, where it felt like it was anybody's game for a lot of the game. It just felt that Stats decided to just keep on consistent aggression on Dark, and that's what kind of told the tale of the tape for us in that first game. I felt like Dark did very good on defense in game number 2. I feel that if he would have just counterattacked when he noticed the overextension by Stats, I feel like if he would have countered, he might have obtained victory, but Stats just was given the opportunity to continue re-upping his army and was able to overwhelm Dark in the late game of game number 2. Well, let's see what both of our opponents are deciding, or both of our players are deciding to do here in game number 3. It does look like Stats is going to be going for a very standard build once again. He's going to go for the Nexus and the Gateway, followed up by the Cybernetics core, and then on the opposite side of the map, very similar to games 1 and 2, Dark's going for the hatch gas pool opener with that quick third hatchery going down. And so very standard on both sides. And one thing I've noticed about this series so far, both players have given each other a lot of respect, at least in the early game. And it kind of, turns into, of course, as you move into the later stages of the game, you'll start seeing, of course, what both players really are kind of like decide to do as far as their unit compositions go. But it's interesting how much respect they've both been giving each other. It's like they know that, they know one another's styles. They know what each player is very good at. And I'm surprised that we haven't seen any cheese as of yet from either player. But it'll be interesting to see if we see a little bit of some cheese here in this game from one of these players. Because if your Stats in this point and you kind of maybe turn the momentum a little bit, what do you do to keep it rolling as far as, keep on going, keep winning? Because, as I say, guys, this is a semifinal at the IEM Katowice, which is arguably second best or biggest competition or tournament of the year to BlizzCon itself. So these players are taking this thing extremely seriously. And so I gotta say, it's going to be interesting, to say the least, what ends up happening here in this game, as it does look like Stats is going to go for that Warp Gate research. He's going to start researching the Warp Gate, and, looks pretty standard overall. He does have a Stargate, which he's got an Oracle that's going to be coming out of, and then on the opposite side of the map, Very standard, like I said. He's going for, of course, the Medic Ball like a boost upgrade, which of course is the Zergling speed upgrade. So nothing too crazy as of yet that I've really noticed, but like I said, both these players have really given each other a ton of respect in the past couple of games. So who's going to strike first in this game? I really think if I'm Dark at this point, because how do you know, if Stats kind of flipped the momentum, how does he turn it back, right? And I feel like Stats needs to take the battle to Stats. He just needs to take it to him, and in a way of just kind of dictating the pace of the game. Don't allow Stats to dictate the pace of the game, because if he does, it's going to be very hard to obtain victory. That said, we are going to see the lair coming in for Dark. He is going to be going for, of course, you know, those higher tier lair-based units. And he's getting the lair a little bit earlier than he did in game number 2, so I like that decision-making a lot. On the opposite side, we're going to see the Twilight Council, as well as the robotics facility coming in now for Stats, and I like it, you know, and I like it. He's got a couple more gateways following this up. He's got the Templar Archives coming in as well. So he's kind of going for something similar to what he did in game number 2, which he was able to obtain victory. Let's just see if Dark is able to stop it this time, as the War Prism is going to be coming out now for Stats. And we're probably going to see a little bit of some aggression. We are seeing the Hydra Den is going to be coming in for Dark. And yeah, that layer's finished up, of course. So we got the Hydraless Den is down now, and we're going to probably see possibly a Lingbane Hydra composition once again, taking us back to a throwback to the Heart of the Swarm days. But I have to say, you know, with the current meta of the game, it seems like Lingbane Hydra has been coming back into style for Zerg, for a lot of Zerg players, which I think is absolutely awesome. We are going to see a Forge coming in now for Stats. He is going to have that Forge coming in, probably going to go for those upgrades here shortly. We are going to see, though, 2 Archons. The Archon drops are going to begin. It looks like these Archons are going to try, followed by an Observer going after those Creep Tumors to try to keep the creep spread at bay and not allow it to get out of hand. But here we go. The Queens are going to try to target fire down that War Prism. Transfuses did go in. And we are starting to see some of those Zerglings are going to start moving out. Now this Archon is starting to move out. Don't want to lose that Archon for free, without a doubt. But that said, we are going to see Charge. He's going to be researched for of course Stats for the Zealots, and then we're going to be seeing, you know, those +1 upgrades are going to be coming in. We're going to see more and more gateways being added on. So I'm wondering if we're going to see a push here shortly by Stats, or I should say a timing push, as Muscular Augments are going to be finishing up in less than 10 seconds for Stats. He's got some Zerglings that are just starting to kind of like move around the map, trying to see if they can maybe get a kill or two on some of those probes. Does look like they are able to do that, and nonetheless, we are going to see that War Prism is it looks like, you know, you got a couple Oracles here. These Oracles are going to try to get a little bit of some damage in there as well. They do exactly that. Mass Revelation goes down. I really like the way that Stats has been playing these past couple of games. He's really keeping Dark on his toes. He's keeping Dark at home as well, which I think is really important to mention. As I say, Gladder Constitution is going to be coming in. We're going to be seeing Groove Spines is being researched, and Ground Weapons level 1 is going to be finishing up in a couple of seconds, as well as Charge for Stats. So we're going to see a nice warp in here for Stats, but you know, Stats is on his 3 bases. I think Stats is feeling pretty good about himself right now, as Dark is going to try to get fully saturated on 4 bases. But like I said, another macro-focused game. I love it, though. A lot of macro going on here in these past couple of games. We're about to see a Roach, a Ravager, Hydra, Ling composition going up against the Zealots, Immortals, Archons, Sentries, and Stalkers. Here we go. This is a pretty scary army, I gotta say, by Dark. He's got a good amount of units. Stats has got you know, a decent army, but I don't know if it's as scary as this army of Dark. Dark's got a pretty nice unit composition, and it does look like Stats is going to start moving in here as those force fields go down. Nice force fields. The Biles are going to go down right on top of them, and Glory Constitution is going to be finished up in a couple seconds, as well as missile attacks level 1, and it does look like Stats forced Dark's army into a couple of different areas, which was a nice play, but I gotta say that Dark did seem to get the upper hand, at least in that engagement. Nicely played there by Dark, and once again, here we go. Those force fields go down, trapping this army. Beautiful play by Stats. Stats is trying to crawl his way back into that supply count, or supply lead, and it does look like +2 is going to be started, as well as Storm for Stats as well from home, but the reinforcements are coming in now for Dark, and we got to keep in mind that there are still a couple of those units as in oracles for Stats on the opposite side of the map, and here we go. It does look like Stats is going to retreat a little bit as Dark is starting to move forward. We are approaching that 9.5-minute mark, and you kind of wonder who's ahead. I just wonder, could Dark move into this and take this army out? Ah, man, he had the high ground advantage and everything. I don't know if I like the decision by Dark to pull out there of that fight. He's got another, he's reinforcing the armies, but I just wonder now, got a lot of High Templar here for Stats, and oh man, this is going to get scary, I think, for Dark the longer this game goes. I like how he's the one being aggressive here. It does look like we are going to see 8 drop alerts coming in. I like this decision making. I'm just wondering, is it going to be enough, as this army do not want to have those storms, could be absolutely devastating. It does look like Dark saw exactly what was going on. We're now seeing those dropper lords. They're coming in. They are absolutely coming in, as a +2 is going to be researched right now for Dark. Oh my, I don't know if they saw it. I don't think they did. They do not know what is coming. Oh my god. Dark might be able to do a lot of damage here, but the mass recall could be called, and that could kind of end it here. But it looks like Dark is going to try to hit in a couple of places at once. Here we go. It does look like the army of Stats is on the opposite side of the map at that 4th base location, as Dark is hitting 2 bases at once. It does look as if Stats is supply blocked, but who's going to have the bigger army at this point? Who's got the army at this point, as we have a lot of these units are moving across the map? Who is going to do the damage quicker, as we might very well have a base race here in game number 3. Absolutely huge. It's all on the line, and it's at the IEM in Katowice, the semifinal of that tournament. Dark is hitting in 3 separate areas at once. At the same time, you have Stats is hitting in multiple areas as well. 2, 3 bases have gone down, and oh my god, all he's got to do is take out all of the structures of Dark, and that would end it. He's going after all these units. Here we go, as Stats, all of the units on the opposite side of the map. It's a massive base race right now. Oh my god, Dark got that third, or I should say that hatchery down. Stats is not, he's not recovered yet. He has not, he's got to get his army back home. Oh my god, the ultimate base race in a massive, massive ordeal. It's going to all come down to this, because whoever wins this game is, of course, going to take a 2-1 lead in the series, and that would be absolutely huge. But who's got it? It does look like Stats is trying to take these areas, the simulators in Dark's base. Oh my god. Unbelievable. What an intense way this game has gone, as 12.5 minutes in, both players going for a massive base race here. Who's got the better army, though? I mean, you gotta think that with the proper execution, Dark should have this. This should be Dark's game here, because he's got the high ground advantage. He's got a beautiful advantage, but the problem is that if Stats ends up, having to split up his army so much, it could be a huge issue. And here we go. Beautiful surround here, but the storms are coming in on both sides of the playing field, and that's going to weaken this army a ton. With some micro, though, I don't think Dark should be in a good position, but oh my god, the storms are so huge, and now just like that, it looks like Dark's supply is starting to plummet, as so many of those units are just so bulky, can take so many hits. These Zealots are doing a lot of damage to these Hydralisks. Oh my god. What is going to happen here, as it looks like Stats has found one of the bases, and it doesn't really look like Dark is going to be able to do a whole heck of a lot, as just so many units are starting to go down. Oh, the storms. Wow, these units are going down in bunches right now, not being able to even touch the army of Stats. Oh my. It all came down to those storms. Wow. Unbelievable. Now, if you are Dark, what do you do in this situation? I mean, the spawning pool's going down, but these Immortals are just doing so much damage. Wow. It's unbelievable that this game, guys, that was played at the IEM in Katowice, one of the biggest tournaments of the year, is it comes down to this. It comes down to a base race that just so happens Stats was able to get just such a good, some amazing connections on some of these units. But now the Immortals here, and I just don't know how Dark can win. How can Dark win this thing, as there now is a gateway as well as, I mean, a gateway and a forge coming in. I just don't know. How can he do it? Unbelievable. Absolutely incredible fought match between these two. I just think it's a matter of time until, you know, Dark is just going to have to GG out of this thing. How is he going to be able to do this? These High Templar are everything. They are the tail of the tape here in game number 3. There is just no way that Dark is going to be able to... There's no way Stats is going to allow Dark to regroup here. And GG is called. And Stats, in 2 very interesting turn of events, has been able to take a 2-1 lead over his opponent. I hope you guys did enjoy this game between Dark and Stats, and if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe for news, stay positive, and I'll see you guys all in game number 4. Alrighty, everyone. Well, game number 4 in this best of 5 series finds us on Year 0 LE, between 2 players playing at the IEM in Katowice, and was one of the semifinal games of that tournament, spawning here in the top left hand corner of the map, playing with the red Zerg pieces. He's currently down, but certainly not out of this series just yet. His name is Dark, and his opponent spawning in the top right hand corner of the map, playing with the blue Protoss pieces. He's currently up in the series and wants to finish this series up and earn a trip to the grand finals right here and right now. His name is Stats. Well, guys, I gotta say, this series has been very exciting, to say the least. We have had a series in which 2 players who are so similar in skill sets, so pretty much every game in this series could have gone either way, and it just so happened to go in Stats' favor in game number 3, where he was basically in a base race sort of mentality. And that's kind of just what happened in game number 3, was a base race, and it just so happened that Stats just had those High Templar were the tail of the tape in game number 3. They absolutely were able to shred Dark's army, and that is absolutely how it just ended for Dark in that game. It's just a demoralizing loss. But knowing Dark, he is not out of this thing just yet. This guy is a competitor, a fierce competitor, one of the best Zerg players in the world, and I'm excited to see what he does. Can he bounce back here? Well, we are going to find out here shortly, as we see a hatch gas pool opener, very standard in really what Dark has done this entire series, and then he's going for the quick third hatchery. On the opposite side of the map, we are going to see that natural nexus and also the gateway cybernetics core build by Stats, followed up by, you know, of course he looks like he's going to be getting a stalker out of his gateway. He's getting that warp gate research coming in, and then we're going to see the follow-up of the robotics facility. So like I said, guys, this has been a series that's just been absolutely incredible. I mean, it could have gone either way every game. I mean, really. It's been such a back and forth battle. Stats, you know, you really got to think, what do you do right now? You want to close this thing out, and you know, he was able to just get by, you know, a couple of games there, you know, a little bit of some mismanagement in game number 2, and then game number 3, you know, he was able to really get the luck of the draw as far as having those High Templar that really helped out his army composition. But nonetheless, Dark's not out of this thing. He's not out of it just yet. But Stats is looking to close it out. I mean, obviously, he does not want this to go to a game 5. And we're talking, guys, as I said, one of the semifinal matchups of the tournament at IEM Katowice. Massive. I mean, you earn a trip if you win this to the grand finals, and you know, it's they say the second biggest event of the year to BlizzCon, so a massive ordeal. These guys are, you know, they put their heart and soul into this game and want to see it absolutely. They want to, you know, make it happen, make their dreams happen. Warpgate is now finishing up, as well as Metabolic Boost, which of course is a Zergling speed upgrade for Dark. He's going to be following this up with a lair. He's going to start getting those higher tier lair based units. We are going to see the Forge coming in for Stats, and we are going to see early on the Warp Prism is going to warp in a few Stalkers. So it does look like those Stalkers are going to start moving across the map here. So we are approaching that 4.5 minute mark. Creep spread is already starting to move, and we are going to see these Stalkers are going to start being met right with 3 of those queens. But man, I just have been absolutely loving this series, guys. I gotta say, IEM Katowice is one of the best events of the year, without a doubt. Some of the best competition you will see in all of esports. Absolutely huge, and just you know, incredible. It really is. It's an incredible event, and every game that I've casted so far from it has been incredible. It has been a lot of fun casting these games, and there's just so, you know, it all leads up to moments like this. When we talk about the real-time strategy game of our time, you talk about none other than StarCraft 2 and all that it's done for esports and gaming as a whole. These moments come, and these are where legacy and stories are made of, is in moments like this. Can Dark get this thing back, or can Stats close it out, move on to the grand finals at the IEM Katowice? It's an exciting time, guys. Exciting time of StarCraft. And we don't know what the future holds of StarCraft, but could we get a StarCraft 3? Oh, that would be something to behold. The continuation of one of the greatest esports titles ever, one of the first to do it, would be absolutely incredible. But we're gonna find out, guys. That is a topic for another day, as we are seeing a Twilight Council coming in, as well as those charge upgrades is going to be started. We're going to be seeing gateways following up here out of Stats, and we're going to be seeing the Baneling Nest coming in now for Dark. And so, I mean, really, I mean, this is very similar to what we've seen in the previous game so far, guys. We're seeing a very similar build from really both players. I mean, they're changing it up a little bit, but for the most part, it's pretty standard, or really kind of they haven't really shied away from doing anything absolutely crazy. I guess Dark did go for, of course, in game number 3, he did go for the Dropper Lords and tried to drop and hit in a couple of areas. But for the most part, it's been pretty standard macro-focused games. Groove Spines finishes up for Dark and for those Hydras. And we are going to see the Roly-Poly upgrade, which is the centrifugal hooks for the Banelings. So it looks like a Ling Bane Hydra composition is what we're going to get once again out of Dark, and I love it. He's going to go ahead and do that. It does look like we are going to be seeing you know, of course, Stats is trying to, it's all about information. You really want to figure out exactly what your opponent's doing. And it looks like Stats is starting to move out here. He wants to maybe put a little bit of some pressure on, doesn't want to allow Dark to get too big of an army at this point. We are going to see Charge being finished up in less than 5 seconds for those Zealots. Now this Zergling is not going to see the army that's coming here. This little death ball of units that is in the form of Sentries, Stalkers, Zealots, Immortals, Archons. Oh, this is what Stats has been doing these past few games, and there's been no answer out of Dark. Does Dark have an answer for it as Storm is being researched right now? We are seeing those +1 upgrades that are going to be coming in. We're going to see Centrifugal Hooks is going to be finished up in less than 10 seconds. Here we go. Oh, the little force field there. Almost trapped a lot of those units. Here we go. It does look like Stats is a little bit hesitant to push in there, as Dark is trying to, get a nice position as well on his opponent. But it looks like Stats smartly backing off. He wants to close this thing out, and he doesn't want to take any kinds of unnecessary risks right now, as that 4th base is now being started for Dark. So Dark's feeling pretty confident. He is not allowing Stats to really get an edge right now in the early stages of the game. He wants to keep playing his game. He is not afraid, but at the same time, here come those Zealots. Now, those Zealots did get met as the melee attacks level 1, as well as the muscular augments. He's going to be coming in as well. Oh man, those Baneling hits. Nice play by Dark. Was able to get some nice Baneling hits there, soften up a few of those units. But man, the Immortals are just so tanky, man. They can take so many Baneling hits. It's unbelievable. But it looks like he is going to retreat, as Dark looks like he wants to start moving out. And here come the force fields. Nice force fields there, as the army's got to go all the way around. He's trying to split up this army, and this is where Stats really gets a nice advantage, because he's splitting up the army with those force fields, getting a lot of value. Here come the storms, and once again, those High Templar are being added to the mix, and man, that is where it can get extremely scary, as once again, this 4th base is under fire. The Zerglings are going to be able to kind of hold on. But beautiful play here so far. Ground weapons level 3 is already finished up. So this, as far as the upgrade count is concerned, Stats is having a nice little advantage here, as the Banelings are coming in. The Banelings are trying to look for some probes, cannot find them though, as this army has to back off, at least for the time being. Here we go. Once again, it looks like he's going to try to get more and more damage dealt here. Is Dark. He wants to try to just really sandwich this army. But, I gotta say, Stats is playing incredible defense as well. The use of force fields has been brilliant through this entire series, man. I mean, it's just been back and forth, and once again, we're in a scenario where it just feels like either player could obtain victory. It all comes down to the matchup, and I gotta say, Stats, man, with these High Templar, Dark has had no answer for them in this series. He's had no answer for it. So I'm wondering, he's got to come up with an answer quickly. Otherwise, it is going to be very difficult. Here we go. Hydras, Banelings are going to be coming in here. And those High Templar, once again, are just doing, oh man, beautiful force field. Really separating this army, doing a lot of damage. Once again, more and more High Templar are being added to the mix now. And this is such a scary army now that is moving towards that 4th base location. Here we go. It does look like the storms are going to start coming in here. Those Hydras are trying to get an advantage, but these Archons can take so many hits, trying to sandwich the army. But once again, High Templar are just absolutely decimating the Hydralists. Oh my god! So much damage is coming in. The drones are pulled off the line. Dark supply is plummeting, and GG is called. Stats wins this series and moves on to the grand finals. I hope you guys did enjoy this game and this series between Dark and Stats. And if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe for new, stay positive, and as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.